Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. This is going to be kind of a companion video, I guess you could say, because the last video you saw me reviewing Blue Beetle, and um, it's interesting for me because me and superheroes have a very interesting relationship. So, if anybody has watched this channel for any extended period of time, you guys would know that I'm not particularly fond of this genre, but at least becoming more disenchanted by it, really. But I kind of want to make my stance a little bit more clear because I feel like, I talk ill on the genre quite a bit. And, um, like, I don't actively avoid the genre. I just, like, my problems with the genre have a lot to do with originality and creativity. I mean, because I think especially now people are starting to pick up on it because I think the period that we're entering now with this genre is its downfall period and its removal of sorts in public interests. Um, Now, it's not to say that the genre has not had um, has not had its oddities. Like, I mean, it's had its oddities here and there. Like Logan, I really enjoy. Dark Knight, Joker, I wasn't fond of, but it had some different flavors to it. That were notable. I'd also throw in the Batman. I enjoy the Batman, um, but those are only a select few. Those represent only a select few, not the majority of what this genre truly is in my eyes, which is that of world building and massive reliance on CGI and high budgets. Um, it's what superheroes are now is what action was in the 90s. It's like it's the representation of Hollywood's um uh like Hollywood's uh uh like they're squeezing as much milk they can out of this cow, just to use a certain metaphor. And for me in particular, I'm just kind of sick of drinking from it. Like I get the same flavors every single time. There's no variety. It's just the same. All you can expect from it is just milk. Um, so and like I don't hate the idea of a superhero. Like I find it to be, interesting enough. I mean, it's not anything that notable. But what I'm bored of really is the purpose of the genre as it stands. The genre is going to live and die by franchises and universes, not individual storytelling, which is those examples that I brought up. Those are individual stories. They don't rely so much on a franchise, rely so much on the ideas or certain sequels or comic books and stuff like that. It doesn't rely on stuff like that. What it relies on is the story that is being built in front of you and the characters that are being presented. Actual fundamentals in cinematic language. They don't have to. You don't have to go back like 10 years to figure out what's happening here with this character. You can just piece it together right here. Um, Again, more or less individual storytelling. Um, and I think that most people are starting to feel that way because after Endgame, which was a pretty, satisfying experience for a lot of people, for me, I just found it, to be, fair enough. But even then, though, even though I found it to be, just fine, I also sat in the same ballpark with everybody else, where I thought that this was a nice spot for things to end. This is a nice place where everything is kind of it's been represented and it's been given a nice closing place a conclusion. Um, so there's no need to continue. And now here we are, almost at this point about 3 or 4 years later, and we see how people like Marvel and DC are, trying to figure out their place. DC has been in that position for so long, trying to establish their own identity. And I've said for a while that it's individual stories, more than cinematic universes. For Marvel, um, it's that feeling where like the party's gone on for too long. You know what I mean? Like it's going on the fourth or fifth hour. It's getting past midnight. You're just kind of exhausted, and you kind of want to just go home, So that's the feeling that that I think most people have with Marvel nowadays. They're just kind of like, okay, you know, like there's a lack of energy, and there's a lack of general interest because there has yet to be an establishment of story. There's yet to be an establishment of purpose. And a lot of times, just outside of Marvel, it just feels that way. Like a lot of these stories just feel like they rely on a certain mechanic and uh, rely on a certain um, structure that is just redundant and just feels just overplayed. You know, like those few examples that I brought up, those are films that I genuinely like. Especially Logan. Logan is something special, I think, in the genre. The Dark Knight is technically better, by just the way its craftsmanship and its overall, delivery. But I think that Logan establishes, something. I think was something much more special for me because um, it doesn't rely on the history of that performance or of that character. What it relies on is your interest in the circumstance of now, where the Dark Knight, to a certain measure, does rely on some notions and some ideas of Batman Begins in order to become involved in certain capacities. But The Dark Knight is still a much better film in overall quality and overall sensibilities. It's much better than that of Logan. But I think that Logan, that when I saw Logan, my feeling was like, this is what I want the genre to be. I want the genre to have individual stories at play, and I want, room for different kinds of stories to be told, because Logan really felt like that. It felt unique, to the genre, And the same things can be said about Joker and the Batman, that there's a unique quality being brought to the table. And then outside of that, those like few examples, I just can't find that unique quality. Like I don't see it anymore, and that's why I'm just pretty bored. Now I am recording this before I see Blue Beetle, so maybe I see Blue Beetle, and I get a something of the lines of Logan or whatever like that. I have a hard time believing that. Like I said, the reason why I'm seeing Blue Beetle is because my brother wants to see it. But I mean, we'll see what happens. So, but generally speaking, I don't think that the genre has any desire to change, and because of that, because of that lack of change, that will be what that will be its destruction. So, because I seriously believe that this genre is dying, and I do believe that this genre is on its final lap. I do believe that in a few years' time, I'm giving it like a good 4 or 5 years, that we're going to be seeing a resurgence in horror. I really do believe the horror is going to be the next thing, and this is going to be dying down a lot, So, not saying it's going to be going away completely, but it's going to go back to the times of like the early 2000s, where there was like a select few superheroes out there, and not as crowded as it is now, So that's what I believe it's going to be. It's going to be it's going to be, it's going to be a change of who bears the throne of overall public interests. And I think that that's going to be horror and not superheroes for the future. But as I said, though, I don't hate the genre. I'm just really disenchanted by it. I'm really fatigued. So, and I'm seeking for distinct quality, and it's hard to find that within a genre that is just filled with familiarity. So so those are my thoughts on the genre. I just wanted to kind of give a perspective, before I see Blue Beetle. Perhaps I don't even, who knows? Maybe my review was really positive, or my suspicion, it's gonna be that feeling more of the same. But who knows? Who knows? So yeah, those are my thoughts on the genre and where we're at. I just think that the fatigue is been forming for the past year or so, and it's going to continue so. Um, but you guys will know your thoughts about the genre in and of itself. Do you guys think it's getting tiresome like I do, or do you think that there's still some life in it? Do you guys think that the genre is starting to die out? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video.